What is the horniest thing you have ever done? Convinced my mom to hide a Hustler magazine inside a box of Apple Jacks and mail it to me because we weren't allowed to have phones/internet in drug rehab. They found it right away. Box was way too heavy for cereal. When I was just hitting puberty, I put a shirt in my long pillow, crammed some shirts in as makeshift boobs and humped the pillow. When I was teenager, I played Spider-Man to get off. More specifically, there was a part of the campaign where Spider-Man is going through a sewer/moving water and the controller vibrated. I played the campaign mode to get to that part just so could get one off. Thanks for this, I got a good laugh at myself. I've told this story several times on here. In 93 or 94 we had a blizzard. It kept us out of school for 2 weeks at least, but it seemed like an eternity. I was 13 and recently started feeling those feelings. I was trapped inside for so long and had zero privacy. My door didn't even lock, and when I shut, someone would always want to know why. So, I did what any man my age would do. I got dressed and made my way through 3+ feet of snowdrifts and into the woods behind my house. I crawled down into a gully and started making a snowman in the shape of a woman on the ground. I gave her boobs, some curves, and a hole. My heart was pounding and I was about to do some. I couldn't believe what I was about to do and started thinking, yep, I'm crazy. I tried to just walk away, but was past the point of no return. I unzipped and got busy. I was done almost as fast as I started. I got up and brushed her away as if she meant nothing to me and climbed out of the gully, walked back to the house, went into my room and listened to Counting Crows or some shit like I didn't just have sex with a snowman. Every time it snows, I think of her. Jacked off to a booby lighter at my grandma's house when I was 12, she still has it. It was one that lights up when you open the cap. If I can find a picture I will post it. In college I made myself a fleshlight out of a rolled up towel, a rubber band, a latex glove, and some vegetable oil. Worked pretty well. Thinking myself a genius, I told my buddies so they could frugally fornicate with themselves as well. Bad idea. Caught a lot of shit for a long time after that. I was maybe 18 or 19 in college and I got an offer from some guy I barely knew. The offer was to bang his girlfriend because he had a kook fetish or something. My horny ass actually agreed to it and I fucked his girlfriend in front of him. He watched from the corner beating his meat. It was the most awkward experience I've ever had and the post-nut clarity was terrible. I couldn't get this porn video out of my head all day that I had been using a lot. Was at the gym that evening and couldn't stop thinking of said video. Went to the gym back room and jerked one out in like 50 seconds. I was waiting on my car to get serviced and I was so horny in the waiting room that I used LYFT so I could go home and jack off. Fell in love with a girl. Girl has to move back home to Costa Rica after 3 days of knowing her. Reasonable person, oh well that's too bad, I liked her. Me, guess I'm going to Costa Rica. I was in a Vegas hotel room, pretty drunk and about to go to sleep, then I heard some high-pitched moaning from another room. Sweet. Started jerking. A few minutes later I realized it was not a girl moaning. It was a dog whining. FML. No, I didn't finish, I was traumatized. In WWE No Mercy Creative Wrestler mode, you could create a hot female wrestler and then have her wear an open jacket with nothing underneath. You couldn't see nipple, couldn't remove the jacket, N64 graphics, but still it was sexy. Gift my empire because an NPC said something slightly sexual in Civ 4 IUSED to befriend a neighbor, team up on someone, then backstab my neighbor. But for one game when I was 13 or 14, my neighbor was Catherine the Great of Russia. We beat up a Civ together, cementing us as BFFs in her mind, and then I tricked her into sending her army across the map. Just as I'm ready to kill her and take over the world, I open the prompt window to click war, and her 3D model does this hair flip and the text reads, "Is that a peace treaty in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?" Instant boner. Never in my life had anyone expressed any forwardness towards me, and OFC crazy hormones for a 13/14 yo. So the last 8 to 10 hours I spent building my empire was wasted as I start gifting everything to Catherine, reopening the prompt window every time just to see if she has any other sexual dialogue. She did not. In high school, I was on my home from work about 2 hours away in BFE, Wyoming. I couldn't stop thinking about a girl I had a crush on, and so, while still driving, I pulled my pants all the way down and began stroking it. I was about to finish and for about 2 seconds closed my eyes and imagined my crush, and then I see a deer and hard swerve going about 55 miles per hour. You've never lived until you come and almost flip your truck. The fucking adrenaline and climax was worth it. Okay, super embarrassing, but once I got so horny during my 3.5-hour drive to university that I decided to pull over into an empty parking lot and deal with the issue. It was nighttime, BTW. I got my pants down and was making some good progress when I see headlights and the red and blue flash of a police car out my rear window. Oh no, it pulled in behind me. I was the only one around, so I knew it was there for me. I quickly righted myself, stepped out of my car, and made my way over to the policeman. With his flashlight shining in my eyes, he asked me what the heck I was doing in the parking lot of a closed office complex at 9 p.m. I panicked, and told him that I lost my way, and was just checking my highway map. He didn't look too convinced, but gave me some directions and told me to get on my way. I immediately did so. Needless to say, I never finished my task, but I no longer felt like I needed to. It's been my secret to this day. I'm pretty sure I've got the dumbest story here. Back when I was in high school, I was home alone and got hungry, so I decided to cook for myself. Someone in my family bought a bag of udon noodles and I figured now would be a good time to eat them. I tossed them in a pot of water, and cooked them on the stove as per the directions. As they were boiling on the stove, I decided I wanted to try one to see how well they were cooked before dumped out the water, so I got a fork and scooped a noodle out of the pot and ate it. For some reason, the act of chewing the noodle in my mouth made me insanely aroused. I didn't understand the connection, but assumed it was the texture of the noodle that caused it. So like any rational person, I decided to strain the noodles out in the sink, and then using my hands, scooped the noodles out of the strainer and carried them into the bathroom as they dripped water all over the floor. Then got in the shower, udon noodles in my hands, and proceeded to fuck the mess until I came. Let me tell you, the embarrassment of realizing you just fucked a pound of cooked noodles doesn't compare to the humiliation of having to sit in a shower pulling bits of crushed noodle out of the drain so your parents don't find out. I was 15. I had to pick up trash around the bleachers the morning after a high school football game as a form of detention. I'm at the top of the bleachers. About 2 rows down from me is a hot Hispanic girl. She bends over to pick up trash and boom. No bra, loose-fitting shirt. I can see everything. I had never had a girlfriend and had never seen breasts IRL. It made me so horny that I couldn't think straight. About 5 minutes later we finished up and were released. Instead of going home, I head to the school gym. It was empty and dark. Ended up rubbing one out under the bleachers. I straight nut on the bare floor under the bleachers. Before my high school girlfriend and I started having sex, she would let me sniff her pussy through her panties. I would then go home and jerk off. I still jerk off to that memory. Mine's a tie between using a Japanese eggplant as a dildo before eating it for dinner and the many times I masturbated while my college roommate slept next to me in the bed we shared because we had no privacy and I am always randy. I had a substitute in 8th grade that wasn't necessarily attractive, but she had huge breasts and a big ol' bubble butt. We were doing a relay with math problems where some students were in teams of 6 solving problems and handing the whiteboard marker off. She sat in the seat next to me, and every time she would ring her bell for a correct answer, her boobs would jiggle. I was fixated on them for maybe a solid couple minutes until a team won. Then she got up, and in the process, I saw her thong and that booty about 6 inches from my face. I excused myself with a rager tucked into my waistband and thanked the Lord I had a hoodie on. I busted 2 nuts within 5 or so minutes and got back to class. I've loved bigger women ever since.